then most likely 2025 has impacted you in one way or another. And I have to remind you that right now we are just over midway through a 9 year. What does that mean? Well, in numerology, there are 9 year cycles, both individually and collectively. And of course, every number, every year means something different. And 9 is the end of this cycle. So it represents death. It represents endings. It represents, um, I'm losing all my words. It represents realizations, self-reflection, completion, right? It is all of these things. So if you have been thinking about a big career change, if random people have been leaving your life, if people from the past have been coming back, if you're on the rocks with your relationship, if you are at a place where you don't even know who you are anymore, then welcome to a 9 year. You're actually exactly where you need to be. Now, I will say that typically, because we're halfway and over halfway through this year, this is a really good time to actually shift the energy away from endings and into thinking about at least new beginnings. Now, globally, collectively, nationally, there is a lot going on this year as well. We've got massive wars and so many people suffering. We have political drama that is just tearing not just the USA apart, but many countries all over the world apart. There is polarity, there is fighting, there is family drama, there is economic downturns, there is a lot happening. And all of it is being pushed by and really representing this 9 year cycle. It's this cycle of endings. It takes a long time to end, especially things like long relationships or massive careers, or even just an understanding of your own identification, let alone on top of that collectively. We are shifting and changing and ending massive structures and systems, and it's not going to happen overnight. So at the end of this video, and it won't be a long video, but at the end of this, I'm going to go through how the collective globally is shifting and what we can actually expect for the next 9 years. Before then, I want to talk a little bit about your own individual changes and shifting and sort of where you're at now, and same thing, what you can expect for 2026. So if this is where you're at right now, then you found the right video. I will make you feel a lot better by the end of this and maybe a little bit validated during, because you're not alone. And we're all going through it right now in one way or another. So let's deep dive. How do we get to even just the understanding of a 9 year cycle and numerology? Typically, at an individual level, what you do is you take your birth date. So for me, it's 0708, and then you take the current year, which would be 2025, and you break down all of those numbers, you add them up individually, and you get your year number. For example, I'm in a year 6, I believe. Maybe redo the math on that. Do the math in your own life and your own birthday. Okay, so you take your month, you take your day, and you take the current year, break all of those numbers down, add them up individually, and you should get your year. Now, if you get a weird number like 17, you break that number down, you add those up to get an individual number, 1 through 9. Obviously, that would be the year 8. Okay, that's going to tell you a lot about where you're at right now individually. Collectively, all you got to do is you take the year, so 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, and you get the year number. Obviously, in this case, it's a year 9. Both the year numerology and the individual numerology are going to affect us. It's kind of like astrology. It's kind of like psychic readings. You take everything with a grain of salt, question it all, have an open mind, get curious, but also just take what resonates with you and leave the rest. All right. There are a couple of really important things to know about living through a year 9 and then also getting prepared for a year 1. Like I mentioned, it's all about endings. What no longer serves me? Am I truly happy? What have I identified with for the past 9 years? And what what isn't working anymore? And what could potentially work? When we're in a year of endings, we are in full vulnerability. We are in a year of complete surrender. And with that complete surrender, you don't know who you are anymore because you haven't stepped into the new cycle. You are still just letting go and clearing the old. So please keep that in mind. All right. Yeah, so a lot, even like health things. Maybe it was an old injury from 10 years ago or 20 years ago that has resurfaced. Or maybe you got into some freak accident this year or had some strange rash pop up. No matter what it is at a health level, that is typically signifying an ending, a release, a purging, a detoxifying as well. That is challenging to say the least. And that really forces us into surrender. A health crisis, a relationship crisis, a family crisis, a career crisis also has so many other layers to it that challenge who we think we are. It's a financial thing. It's a labeling thing. It's a rose-colored glasses thing. I think in so many ways we thought that where we were, maybe even a couple of years ago, was okay. That was enough. And now we're starting to realize that it wasn't enough and that you do need something more. And you may not know what that more is, but you know that what you've had is no longer enough. But it has been enough, which can be confusing. And that's because you are now growing out of old energy. And as you grow out of old energy, you realize that that was all good for that period in time, but now that time is changing, and you're changing and growing along with it. Remember, all right, the only constant in life is change. And I love personally, I'm 33 now, I love how I forget that all the time. You know, I sort of just ease into a routine in life. And I'm like, yeah, this is great and this is easy. And I could be here for the next 20 years. And then boom, the rug is pulled from underneath me and I've got to change everything I thought I knew. And I'm shocked every time. And then I have to laugh every time because I'm like, here we are again. Why do I expect that things will always remain the same? And also, if things were to remain the same, then you're not getting challenged. If you're not getting challenged, you're not learning anything new, and therefore you're not growing. Just because life is easy doesn't mean that you're happy, and it definitely doesn't mean that you're moving forward. All right? But also, you can be happy. You're totally allowed to be happy. And you're also totally allowed to have an easy, blissful, great life. We all deserve that. Okay, great. All right. So 2026 is a 1 year. All right. Individually and collectively, it's new beginnings. And we're going to talk about the collective new cycle in a second. But let's talk about preparing yourself for another new 9 year cycle. The number one piece of advice I could give you right now is confront the anxiety. And I've got an anxiety book coming out in the new year. Perfect timing. Gotta love that. All right. Anxiety is a messenger. And I use the word anxiety not necessarily as a diagnosis, but more as an emotional experience that we go through that we can all relate to from one extreme level to another. Maybe it's just subtle, okay? It is a feeling of dis-ease. It's a feeling that something isn't sitting right with you. And typically, we don't know where that's coming from. If we were to really show up and listen to the dis-ease, to the anxiety, then we can start to pinpoint what in your life is no longer aligned to potentially that new cycle or that new energy. So just remember that if you do not listen at this time, if you do not be brutally honest with yourself, if you do not take radical responsibility for where you're at in your life, and if you are happy or not, it is all going to catch up to you next year. There is no running from this. There is no hiding from it. There is no sweeping shit under the rug anymore. This is the year, this is the time to confront everything you're feeling, everything you have been feeling, and finally make that change. Just fucking do it. Okay? If you don't, next year is going to be worse. Next year, you're going to get a rug pull and another rug pull and another rug pull. Those rose-colored glasses you've been wearing are going to break. I can almost guarantee that. And because 2026 is a 1 year, you don't want to be bringing any of the old lessons and the old energetic baggage into the new cycle. Deal with it now. Confront it now. Now, for those of you who have had a very confronting, very difficult, very exhausting, lots of ego death type of year, okay? Great. That's where I'm at. This is a turning point. This is a really good time in August and then moving into September where we can finally catch a break, breathe a little bit, and then start to think, what do we want for the new year? What do I want for my new life? What do I want for my new identifiers? What do I want for my new lessons and challenges? What do I want from my new relationships? What do I want from my new career or financial situation or what have you? Okay? But you gotta show up and do the work. You have to. You just can't run from it. I have a couple of questions that you should be asking yourself that will help you do the work and show up so that 2026 is not confronting, it's a lot of new opportunities. Once you end up doing the work, the new friends, the new career path, the new financial success, the new opportunities will come, but you have to show up. Okay, so first question is, what happened in 2016 for you? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because 2016 was the last 9-year cycle. It was the last 9-year year. All right. So what was going on in 2016? What dreams, what hopes, what aspirations did you have for the next 10 years? What dramas, what emotions, what lessons were you playing out from the last 9 years? What was going on in 2016 and how can you reflect on that right now? Okay. Next question is, what repeating challenges have you faced between 2016 and 2025? Once again, you want to focus on repeating challenges. Repeating. What has repeated for you? And then ask yourself, how is that coming back up in 2025? Because that's what we're learning. We are applying the lessons we've learned to the year, and every single challenge we've been faced with in the last 9 years, it's all coming to a head right now. Could be through different people, through different means, through different labels and names, but it's all the same. When we can start seeing the repeating pattern, it makes what we're going through right now a lot easier, and it puts a lot of things into perspective. Okay? Next question. What life movement and growth have you had between 2016 and 2025? So you want to reflect on the challenges and the lessons from the past 9 years, but you also want to focus on the successes. In 2016, I started my YouTube channel for the first time. I was just really vulnerable and really open and really wanting to find a community. And that's where I was at, So reflect on those things. And then final question is, what do you want between 2026 and 2031? If you have a moment, if you're not in survival right now, fantastic. Hopefully it means that you've done the work. And if you have that moment of contemplation or time or energy on your hands, what do you want moving forward? What do you want for the next 9 years? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about war. Let's talk about family. Let's talk about collective. Before we get to the collective expression of this year of death and endings and what to expect for the next 9, quick shameless plug. If you guys are really, really struggling, I highly recommend my first book. It's so funny because the other day I walked by it and I started laughing because I'm like, if we were to ever need this book, it would be now, right? It's called You're Not Dying, You're Just Waking Up. And there have been many, many occasions in the past year where I have just randomly flipped it open, read a page, and felt a lot of relief in the validation that I received of, yeah, I'm not dying, I'm not going crazy, I'm just going through something, and this is normal. And all of the steps and the stages on a spiritual awakening, a rebirth, a dark night of the soul, it's all in here. And it is such a good reminder. So if you have not read the book, go freaking read it. If you're going through something and you have the book, pick it up, ask for what you need, open it up to any random page, and just take it all in, because this is normal. Change is normal. That's what we're going through. All right, so go check out that book. And then also, like, I don't do one-on-one sessions anymore, but I do have a really good friend of mine who does. If you're looking for extra coaching, extra support, if you're going through, she specializes in super, super dark energies and sort of negative energetic removals. If you want and feel like you really need that and need to know how to navigate toxic relationships or even just spiritual warfare, you want to hit her up, okay? It's Sharma, and her website, I believe, is sharmapillai.com, but please just have the moderators. Hopefully you guys can link the website, and we'll also put it in the description and all of that great stuff. You can also just email us, support@elizabethapril.com if that's not the right website. I just have her cell phone number, so I actually forget her website, but I highly recommend, okay? So please go check out both of those resources if you are truly in it. So let's talk collectively. So we are in the middle of a great awakening right now on so many different levels, energetically. Even the Schumann resonance has been off the charts recently. What encompasses a great awakening, right? People start questioning everything. And that's also in my book, right? I have a whole chapter on question everything. What prompts people to question? What prompts people who are asleep, who are delusional, who have taken the bait, people who have been completely programmed? What gets those people to question everything? Suffering. It's suffering. And polarity is a really big part of suffering. If you find yourself fighting, if you find yourself on the left or the right extreme side of things, then you are attaching yourself to a perspective, one perspective. You are attaching yourself to a label. You are attaching yourself to just one way of being. No matter what your label is, no matter what your attachment is, no matter what you're fighting for, right? It's one side of things, which means that you start to embody something called a linear experience. And what happens when you embody a linear experience is you're only seeing one side of the coin. We are not linear beings. We are multifaceted. We are quantum individuals, and even quantum mechanics will tell you that much. What that means is that we have many different sides. And with all of those different sides, the more we attach ourselves to one side of the thing, the reality, the coin, the politics, the war, the whatever, right? The more we feel like we're lacking or missing something deep within. Your mind will never tell you what you're lacking or missing, which creates anxiety and restlessness and this feeling like you're not where you need to be. All of that internal suffering, all of that external suffering, all of the challenges, all of the polarity, it's going to drive people to question everything. Am I really happy? Is this who I really am? Does this political belief make me happy? Does fighting against or for this war make me happy? Does my toxic mother-in-law make me happy? Does this, make me happy? Like, where am I at in relation to the things that I believe? When you start to question everything, you start to deprogram your mind. Whether that society has programmed you, or your partner has programmed you, or your family has programmed you, or you've just programmed yourself, right? Ultimately, we get stuck in our own neural pathways. But our mind is neuroplastic. We can change it, even when we're older. All right? So we are moving collectively out of delusion, and the systems are collapsing collectively. We're at a 9-year, but yeah, I mean, it happens every 9 years. And the systems have been built against us pretty much since the dawning of humanity. Now, before we get into I really actually want to focus on Trump, and I have a lot to remind you guys of, okay? Before we get there, I do want to talk about, just economic, education, political, healthcare. So, let's just circle back around to Trump for a second. I remote viewed him a couple of years ago, I believe. All of my Trump videos are on my website. A lot of them are not on YouTube for good reason, so just keep that in mind. And I definitely can't put anything on TikTok because they have shut down my account on a number of occasions. There are two sole missions that Donald Trump has, okay? One, and take or leave any of this, please. If it resonates, great. If not, this is a polarizing topic, and I am bipartisan. I don't care. I don't choose a side. I really am neutral, as neutral as I can be. All right, so please don't fight each other in the comments. Please listen to what I have to say for 2 seconds, please, okay? Before you get all riled up. He has two soul missions, pretty much they're the same. Because my biggest question is like, what soul would sign up for that job? For that meat suit, I don't know. I'm just curious, okay? 1, bringer of chaos. Woohoo! Donald Trump, his mission, one of his missions is the bringer of chaos. His second mission is the disruptor. He is the disruptor. He disrupts through chaos. So what is he doing right now? He is shaking up everything we've known collectively, both nationally and internationally. He is disrupting all of the systems, the political system, the economic system, the healthcare system, the social system, the education system. He's disrupting all of it. Is he a savior? No. Is he meant to bring solutions? No. He is meant to shake up what we have. He is meant to bring chaos and destruction, essentially. I don't care what side you're on. I think we can all agree that he's doing a bang-up job of his mission. That's what he's here to do. And a part of it is to push polarity. Because once again, the more polarized we become as a group, the more we break down our limiting linear beliefs and we begin to question the narrative. When all we have is destruction and endings and chaos, we are forced to question how, who, why, what's next? Does this serve me? Does this serve the collective? If not, great. What does? You can't see the forest through the trees. We have to break everything down right now to finally have clarity on what is and is not working, both individually and collectively. Love him or hate him, okay? He has a purpose and he's kind of fulfilling it, and it's scary as shit. It is, because it is causing so much challenge, so much suffering, so much instability, so much chaos, and so much fear. We can rise above it. You need to have the perspective that this is a part of the process that we're in right now, collectively. That this is exactly where we should be, so try not to get caught up in it. All right? Okay. And I put down here, when traditional systems collapse, alternative solutions are born. I'm going to repeat that because it is impactful. When traditional systems collapse, alternative solutions are born. Okay, great. I have a couple of other statements. He is taking down the old system by breaking it. He is creating division so that humanity can better understand polarity and wake up. He is not meant to bring solutions, just to clear the old. All right, so let's talk about the next cycle, 2026. All right, and before I give you the final message on what we're moving into individually and what we're moving into collectively, and they're very different, by the way. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. All right, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new here. I know I saw a couple of new people join the chat, and share this video. So many people are feeling it. So many people are struggling. So many people are in their endings or their dark night of the soul, whether it's getting them this book or just talking to them or sending them this video, it can help. All right. So it's just so important that we all know we're not alone in this right now, and that there is hope and that there is light on the other side of the tunnel. Okay. But definitely like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And of course, if you like this kind of content, keep coming back because there's a lot going on. So 2026 is a 1 year. It starts a brand new 9-year cycle. That's exciting. It's scary. We don't know what to expect. At a collective level, I would love to say that yes, 2026 is the year of rebirth and new and solutions, and everyone's just going to live in peace and harmony. And that is just so, so far from the truth. As a matter of fact, 2026 to 2031 collectively is going to be a whole 9-year cycle of collapse. More systemic collapse, more economic collapse, more all of the things, systemic collapse, political collapse, more polarity, more aggression, more rioting, more all of that, okay? So everything we see kind of this year is like ending the old cycle collectively, but it's also going to just bleed right on into 2026. And we're not just collapsing a couple of years of systemic build. We are collapsing decades and generations of humanity's systemic buildup that all just feeds the 1%. I think we all know who the systems are benefiting, and it's definitely not any one of us, right? We've got to collapse that. It's going to take another 9 years. We really just started, really since 2020, this whole downturn of collapse and dysregulation. We've got 9 more years of that collectively. Try not to get sucked in. Try not to feed polarity. At an individual level, I have good news for you. This next 9-year cycle is all about rebirth. It's about reinventing yourself. It's about opportunities. It's about abundance. It's about creativity. It's about spiritual expansion and creation. Whatever it is that you've always wanted your whole life, this is the time. This is the cycle. There is no more waiting. However, you now have to clear out and purge and release and heal and forgive and let go of not just 9 years of energies and lessons and challenges, but a lifetime's worth. So you've got this. I'm right there with you. It's time to start fresh, but you got to feel the old before you start the new. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for being here, a part of the community. It really just means so, so much to me. Keep up the good work. I know it can be difficult, but this is all happening for the best, for the better. And you may not know what's next, but that's a perfect place to be. All right. Bye for now. I will see all of you in the next one.